if you're an American who is considering leaving the country to move somewhere else, make sure that the location you choose isn't based off of fear and lack mentality. I regret moving to Costa Rica. It's a beautiful country. I love the nature and wildlife, but moving to a third world country where I don't know the language, I don't have any connections, resources, or opportunities, that didn't make my life any easier by any means. I was just so scared of what's going on in America politically that I was in fight or flight. I was like, how am I gonna afford to survive? Like, how am I gonna find a place to live? Like, I was freaking out. And then I came here and made my life so much harder. And now I'm trying to go back, and I just like wish I didn't leave in the first place.
Would you look at that? A liberal makes a stupid decision and regrets it. This woman decided to move to Costa Rica without knowing how to speak the language, not knowing anyone there, not having any resources, no job unless she works online. But from my understanding of what she said here was that she didn't know how she was going to basically sustain herself. And now she wants to move back to America because she realized that it's not as easy living in these other places as people think it is. And I guarantee you, she also has a lot of complaints about the infrastructure in Costa Rica. Now, I don't know what the Costa Rican infrastructure is like. I'm assuming it's not on the level of America, but I heard Costa Rica is a really nice country. I'm in Panama, which is right next to Costa Rica. And I have my complaints of the infrastructure here because it's not adequate. It's not what I'm used to, but I've gotten accustomed to it. I also understand that this is not my country and I have to respect where I am. But see, the difference between her and I is that I actually speak Spanish and it is my first language. So for me, moving to a country where I have no family in either, it was a lot easier because I can communicate with the people here in their native language. I can communicate with everyone here. I can have conversations. I was able to talk to a realtor who helped me find an apartment. I can go to the supermarket. I don't have to pull out the translator app. So you have to be intentional in what you want to do when it comes to moving to another country. Because I thought about it before. I thought about moving to other countries, and I didn't move because of Donald Trump. This was something that was on my bucket list for a few years that I wanted to do, and I finally got the opportunity to do it. But you have to be intentional when you want to move. Because in a lot of places where they don't speak English, you are going to struggle. This is why I say I'm not a fan of the passport bro thing, because a lot of these guys are just dudes who want to go to these other countries, don't speak the native language, and think that these women want them when they can't even have a conversation with them. They have to use Google Translate. Like, imagine trying to date someone where you can't even talk to this person. You have to type everything out on an app and have them read it. So those girls aren't with you for a long time. They're with you for a good time, and that's what a lot of these guys don't get. But let's continue listening to what she has to say.
And it's so weird to like want to move to America right now with everything that's going on, but I just left so many privileges and resources behind, and I want them back. It sucks. But I kind of grew up in an interesting way. I was like the poorest person in the wealthiest rooms throughout most of my childhood. I was extremely wealthy till I was like age 6. I had this beautiful waterfront mansion with a private beach and pool. And then my parents got divorced and I ended up with a parent who didn't have money.
Would you look at that? A liberal who comes from a gated community, which is what I talk about all the time. Of course she's allowed, or of course she's going to have luxury beliefs, liberal beliefs, because she never has to face reality as a person. She lives in a community away from the reality of the world, or lived in a mansion away from the reality of the world. She says she lost so many privileges. I've said this in previous videos, but I've been living here close to 9 months now. It'll be 9 months in December. And I say 9 months because that's when I'm leaving. I'm going back to the United States. And the week after I got here, back in mid-March, they closed down the road right downstairs from my apartment. Like just a piece of street. It's not even that long. Like one block. That road has been closed the entire time. To this day, that road is still closed for construction. That piece of road. And so it makes even driving, getting to my apartment, much more difficult. Now I don't drive, I take taxis, but it's just much more difficult. A lot of things move at a slower pace. Just the infrastructure is not great. Sometimes the electricity goes out. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in America, but here's much more often. The internet is not as fast. It's just the things that you notice, the privileges of having certain things that you don't have when you move to another country. You start to notice once you're there long enough. Because going on a vacation to a place for a week is cool and you can deal with things because you're just there for a week. But actually living in the place, you start to realize how much different it is. And again, it's not saying, I'm not complaining. It's not saying that I don't understand. It's saying that it gives me perspective about how much better I have it as an American in America than a lot of these people have it in these places.
So we were living out of like trailers and hotels and lower income housing, but I was still in these really wealthy situations. Like I was in private school and cotillions and dance lessons. And I always thought that I was so poor because I was the poorest person that I knew. And all of my friends had like millionaire and billionaire parents. Now that I've traveled, I've seen like real poverty and I'm like, oh, I wasn't poor. But as a kid, I had these really luxurious vacations through my friends and family members where like my first introduction to Costa Rica, it was like when I was 17 years old. I came with my friend's family and we stayed at exclusive resorts. We were having lunch at the Four Seasons, and like same with my Hawaii experiences. My family friends took me and we stayed at the Grand Wailea and the Hyatt, all these really fancy luxury resorts, and we would explore the areas too. But you know, living in Nonavale or Pahoa is very different than taking a vacation at the Grand Wailea or Four Seasons. So, you know, my travels and moves, I've really realized how privileged I've been. And there's a lot of things that like made me run away from LA and Orange County, some traumatic experiences and terrible people. But I left a lot of resources and great people behind, and I need to be in those environments again.
No, don't come back. We don't want you back. You left. Donald Trump's in office. Please stay in Costa Rica. That's the life you wanted to live. That's the life that you deserve. You shouldn't be allowed back in America. I mean, she should be. She's an American citizen. But I would wish she would just stay in Costa Rica and build her life there. Because, again, she left because Orange Man bad and America bad, without realizing how much better she has it in America. And it's the reason why all these people want to come to the United States. But as I've said, we can't just let anyone and everyone in, because when we let anyone and everyone into the United States, what happens is that our country slowly but surely starts becoming like those places those people are running from. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any immigration from any impoverished country, but it needs to be done slowly, and it needs to be done in a way that allows for these people to assimilate into American culture and not the other way around. Not for them to come here and then start demanding that the United States become more like their country that they fled from. Because if that's the point, then just go ahead and go back to your country. Why didn't you stay if you miss it so much? But That's all I got for this video, guys. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends. If you like what I do here and you want to support my work, I have links in the description box below. I also have an email in the description box below if you have anything you want to send me or react to. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.